All right, welcome everyone to the June meeting of the Annapolis Education Commission, which June seems to have gone very quickly. I feel like well, anyway, it was just May or perhaps December. I appreciate everyone being here tonight, and one of the primary things that we need to do tonight is to have elections. And as we do not have a quorum at this point, I guess we need to decide um, on what we want to do about that. Um, I know Enid said she is not able to attend.
I think Janet was a maybe.
I wanted to see for the people that are on the call now, if we reached out to Joanna was not able to attend, and I would like to hear from her. Is it sort of the end of the school year type thing? If we reached out and to see whether she was maybe be available on the 9th or the 16th of July, would anyone here not be able to make it if we postponed our meeting till then? I have to see when the Board of Ed meeting is.
I can't do the 9th.
Okay. Oh, I can't do the 16th. That's Mike's birthday. Or the 23rd, which would be our fourth Wednesday. Or do we just move forward with the menu oh, wait, did somebody just come on? Or did it just move?
We're still at 6.
So it's 6.
Yeah, I did talk to Joanna briefly, and one of the things that she suggested that I started watching was the last board meeting, the 18th board meeting. They had a presentation on community schools, the Blueprint for Education, which also included a little bit of discussion about community schools. And Odessa, I particularly wanted to bring it to your attention because it talked about a lot of the things that Joanna talked about when you asked your questions last time about how are we getting to the kids and how are we getting people prepared for the future. And it really breaks down piece by piece, like how they're rolling out the pre-K and how they're targeting the groups for pre-K. It talks about the college and career readiness. It talks about a little bit about community schools, because that money does come from part of that money is coming from Blueprint. And it talked about how different schools have used the money to things specifically. One of the things she said was that I think the school system, 3 of the community schools used their money to hire people specifically targeting attendance to make sure the kids were coming to school and showing up every day. So those were a lot of the questions that I know you had specifically been asking. So I was going to suggest, Jess, one of the things for the fall, maybe I would love to have Dr. Pugh come back and talk to us again about Blueprint and community schools, and especially in light of Annapolis High becoming a community school, find out kind of what that means to our cluster and to students at A High. I think that a lot of those questions, I feel like, Odessa, a lot of the questions that you brought up are questions that we've all had that sort of come up over and over and over again. And this really was sort of, I'll send out the link to the board meeting. The Blueprint part starts about an hour in, but it really sort of targets point by point a lot of the questions that you asked. And I think for all of us, it was just really, it's good information. That really explains, first what they're doing, and then also how the funding pieces work, which is good in light of some of the questions about whether or not we're going to have a federal Department of Education going forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Laura.
I'll send that link out.
Yeah, I think also that I was concerned about the suspensions and well, I guess expulsions too, but mainly the suspensions. If they have communities in school, I took a workshop on that years ago, but it's a little different here in Maryland. But if you have communities in school, why are we still suspending so many students,
I
especially
That I
the,
don't know, but I think we should get like maybe up to date sort of suspension data would be helpful because um, I would like to see sort of concrete numbers. Like, are those numbers remaining steady? Are those numbers declining? Like so that we can compare sort of apples to apples rather than just sort of anecdotal, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, uh-huh. Okay. Well,
I mean,
hopefully we'll take it up in the beginning of the new school year, the
yeah.
community school. And you said it's Shannon Pugh, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Dr. Pugh is she's the coordinator for Anne Arundel County Public Schools for the Blueprint for Education. And since community schools falls under that, she's also in charge of the community schools program. And I've been super excited by what I've seen at like Annapolis Middle School and at some of the elementary schools that they've rolled out into. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what those changes mean to Annapolis High as they continue to roll out is continue to implement that. Because every school, I know the first thing they do is they sort of survey the school community to find out what the needs are. And so each school implementation looks different. So like what Georgetown East needed may not have been what Tyler Heights needed, may not be what students at Annapolis Middle needed. And I know they've done different things. I know I saw they had some really cool classes for parents that Annapolis Middle ran. I just has shared information about those. But I know they had classes on like financial literacy was one that I saw. I think they also had, didn't they have like English classes for Spanish speaking parents?
Sorry. Yes, they did a whole section of English for Spanish speaking parents.
Yeah.
It's been really
So
great. I mean, everything that they've been able to put in, and at the elementary school level, they do a full spate of clubs, after school clubs, sports programs, just a whole bunch of really amazing different opportunities, which has been great.
that's great.
And all of the schools in the Annapolis cluster, what I forget what the terminology that we're using now, are community schools except for
West
Hills,
Annapolis and Rolling Knolls, right?
Hillsmere, West Annapolis, and Rolling Nose. Yeah.
Hillsmere. Yeah, that's right. Hillsmere is the one that bugs me because all the kids from Robinwood that could really benefit from those services don't get them because they're balanced out by all the folks at Hillsmere who don't need those services. So
Right. But then again, that's supposedly, that's part of the thing is that if you have a good balance of socioeconomics, then hopefully that's also comes through the
true.
school. You know what I mean? That's part
Yeah.
of yeah. So, um, okay. So, thank you for that, Laura. That was really, really great. I guess, do we have revision sorry, totally out of order. Totally out of order. I guess we do a roll call. So we'll start. I'm just gonna go down. Pam,
Here.
Laura,
Oops. That's it. Ward 7.
Tara,
Here.
Corey,
Sorry. I'm here.
Corey.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
And Tara. Everyone just moved. Everyone just rotated. So I don't. Did I already say Tara?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And so we are missing a quorum. I'm not sure. Jamie is no longer going to be on from Ward 2, is no longer going to be on the commission, nor is Janet. And then we are also missing
India said she's on her way.
India, great. That's great.
Yeah. So that will give us a quorum, I think. So we have 6, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 6.
That would be great. So Ward 6, then we have Ward 7, 8. Tara, you're Ward 4. Ward 6, sorry, 5. She's 5, India. Right? India is 5, Corey is 6, Laura is 7, I'm 8, Tara's 4. We're missing 1, 2, and 3. Okay. We will move on while we're waiting for India to get here to the revision or approval of the agenda. I will pull the agenda up for everyone to see. Here is the agenda. Any changes, revisions? Anyone want to move for approval?
I move we approve.
I think we need to, the approval of minutes, we need to take off because I know Corey's been having some computer problems, so we haven't gotten the minutes yet. So take that off for now. Thank you.
You want to do that again, Pam?
Oh, I move that we approve the agenda.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda as amended?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Great. So next up, we have public testimony. Do we have anyone here for public testimony? I know we haven't received any public testimony in our email box that I'm aware of. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have vacancies on the commission and farewell to outgoing commissioners. As I just mentioned, we do have some vacancies on the commission. We have Ward 2, Jamie is stepping down, and Janet, who is at large, is also stepping down. So that's Ward 2 and at large. And I think that's it as far as I'm aware.
So, Ward 2, what community is that?
West Annapolis?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then we were going to say farewell to the outgoing commissioners, but they're not here.
Yeah,
So-
I just wanted to just say thank you. Janet's not here, but she served on the commission for 12 years. So that's a pretty significant time and energy commitment from her. So I wanted to publicly acknowledge her, and even though she's not here, to thank in person or virtually,
Yes.
thank her for that, all that. That's a lot of time and energy and effort. And
She
she's worked really
is.
hard.
She really put so much of herself into it and really led direction and was so great for so long. So I really appreciate everything that she did and all the information. She is a wealth of knowledge, and that knowledge will be greatly missed for sure.
Especially when it comes budget time, because she knew everything about what was going on with the budget.
Everything. So thank you, Janet. Thank
Yes,
you, Jamie.
thank you, Janet.
Okay.
And thank you, Jamie. Yeah, too. We will also miss Jamie as well.
Yes. Elections for the 2025-2026 year. So Laura has offered to be chair,
Unless anybody else wants to.
which I greatly appreciate. I'm sorry that this year ended up being much more of a heavy lift for me in the rest of my life. And I was not able to do as well as a chair as I would have liked to do, but I think Laura will be a phenomenal chair because she really did all of the work this year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Should also commemorate and thank you, Jess, because Jess has also served on the were you and Janet appointed at the same time?
I don't know.
I don't know, anything more than a decade ago is but yeah, you've also put in a tremendous amount of effort over the years on a lot of different areas, and serve our school system in many our student population in many ways, through all the schools that your students attend, all of your efforts with PTA at all levels. And so you also deserve our undying gratitude and thanks for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I am more than happy to help. Hopefully this coming year will be
Less on fire.
less on fire.
My bar is just like a little less on fire.
A little bit less on fire. Yeah. So, so Laura is going to run for chair. Is there anyone else that's interested in being chair?
Yeah, all positions are open, chair, vice chair, and secretary. So if anybody is interested in any of those positions, speak
Yes.
up. If not, we will commence arm
Corey, would you
twisting.
like to continue on as secretary?
Does anybody else want to do it? 'Cause if I will. I mean, I can still do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
Hold on, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, yeah, I can still do it. I can still do
Okay.
it.
Okay, so Corey is secretary. Is anyone interested in being vice chair? Anybody?
Bueller.
All right, so we're gonna let that simmer for a minute because we have to wait until India gets here anyway, to vote. So I'm gonna pause that portion of the agenda and we will return to it. And discuss topics and goals for the 25-26 school year. Obviously community schools is one of them. I think in the fall redistricting is going to be another continue to be a big topic. So I know that that's something,
Suspensions.
suspensions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna figure out who we can get to get that information from. I don't know who do we know like what superintendent that would kind of fall under, or just hit the ones for our cluster?
I think hit the one for our cluster because I'm not sure how that works anymore.
Yeah.
Plus we have to go through the school system.
Oh, Jess,
Um,
oh, I'm sorry. What did you say after community schools as far as priorities for this coming year?
I said redistricting.
Redistricting, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Thank you.
Should also,
Transportation.
yeah,
Sorry.
transportation continues. That was actually one of the questions that Joanna asked as they were talking a lot about the community schools. First was with regard to pre-K, as they're rolling out universal pre-K. They talked about the priorities and how the seats are, allocated. But if there aren't seats in your school, you might get a seat. You might be able to apply and get a seat at another school, but they don't provide transportation for anywhere except for your home school. So that was one of the things that Janet brought up that is sort of on everybody's radar, but there isn't really an answer. And then similarly, when they got to the piece where they were talking about college and career readiness, Joanna asked about how students can do the dual enrollment where they do classes that they get college and high school credit for. They're offered in conjunction with the community college. A lot of them are being offered actually in the home schools, which I did not realize that a lot of our teachers who have master's degrees are also eligible to teach at the college level. So they teach the college level class, but in the high school classroom, so that our students, even students who don't have transportation to the community college, can still have that benefit. But I know, like the signature program at the high school, I don't know how that is run. If their students are actually, I know at Annapolis High, they have the signature program, and was it change engineering? That those kids are doing dual enrollment. And I don't know if all those classes are being offered in the classroom at A High, or if they're having to do transportation. So Joanna asked specifically about that, as well as how are we making sure that students are the equity of accessibility to those opportunities.
Great topic. I mean, there's just so many. I think, as we've said throughout the 12 years, there are just so many ways that, our cluster is unique, and, we have these new unique challenges, and how can we, best utilize them, and best, I think, is good.
Madam
So
Chair, India just popped in.
Hey, we have a quorum. Hi, India. Thank you.
Hi, India. Sorry.
Hi, everyone.
We're talking about topics for next year that are of things that we want to sort of tackle in the fall. Are there other things that anybody else has thought of or that you want? I think we should probably start lining up speakers like, now. So find out like what sorts of things folks want to hear about, what we'd like to learn more about. I think we should probably try to get somebody from the city to come back and talk about like our before and after care programs and other like community sponsored sports and things and accessibility for those.
Yeah, so India, what we've said is community schools, redistricting, transportation, suspensions, and then everything Laura just said. So if you have anything in the ad that you want to look at as a
Topic
Did
for
Laura,
discussion.
did Laura
Go ahead.
mention the magnet programs too? Just get a better overview of the magnet programs or the
That's a-
signature programs.
That's a good idea.
and also what the school system is doing to increase participation in them across the socioeconomic demographics of our system, but particularly in our cluster. I think that would be good. It would be good to probably have that earlier rather than later, just because
The application process starts in
the
like
application
September.
opens. And I think a lot of people don't know about the new parts of the IB program, which has a career starter or career program and I think it's a leadership program. So it's opens up IB to kids who may be interested in going to college, but also focusing on career or what have you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. So there's a new part to the IB program now.
Yeah, so you can opt to do the diploma program, which is the traditional IB, or you can do it's the CP. I think it's called career completer. I actually like only learned about it sort of on the side, so that's why I'd really like to have somebody come and talk to us about it actually and explain sort of more in depthly the different options.
Yeah.
Is that across the board nation? Nationally too, for the whole nation, the IB program.
It's internationally. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just here, but everywhere.
Are those new options for IB in general, or are those new options that have been within IB and have just been introduced in AACPF?
I am not sure of the answer to that. So it's the career-related program. Students deepen their knowledge, understanding in general areas of knowledge. Here, that's the IB career program CP combines academic study with practical career-related learning. So in that case, from what I understand, like if you do the CP program, you can also continue to do classes at Cat South.
Okay.
So it's like a different student needs and learning styles. And I don't know whether that's been a possibility for a while, but again, that's why I think it would be great to have that option to learn.
But somebody from like the magnet office.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, no, apparently it's been around since 2012. So it must be something that we've just started offering here.
What's the other IB high school? Or is there's just two that do IB in the county, or are there three?
That I don't know.
I know there were at least two, but I can't remember what the other one is, but there might have been more.
Mead is
Right.
one.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought. Mead was the one that's sticking in my head, but I can't remember now if there was another one. But all
I
good
feel
questions for the magnet office, though.
Right. Oh, Old Mill.
Old Mill, thank you.
Annapolis, Old Mill, and Meade all have now the middle years, the DP and the CP. And then the middle schools are AMS, Old Mill Middle, North, and MacArthur. And then there are 8, 9, 10, 11 elementary schools. Eastport, Tracy's, Hebron Harmon, Overlook, Wachapel, Jacobsville, Manor View, Germantown, Sunset, Southgate, and South Shore.
Monarch isn't on there? Monarch was before. Or maybe they don't count because
Oh,
they're a
yeah,
contract school.
maybe because they're a charter school.
Contract school.
Contract school. They haven't gone to full charter. For some reason, I thought that they had gone to charter because they were open now to the whole community.
No, I think it had to do with how they were still considered a contract school because of the way that they were started, because the school system basically said to them, we are hiring you to run a school for us, as opposed to a charter school, which is independently like run and basically funded, and then says you can have your students can have seats here if they want.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's
At least that's how it was explained to us when they opened, but it's been a few years.
Yeah,
So
no, it still says contract school. So, yep, and it is still an IB school, and a Title I school, and a community school.
oh, that's cool. I didn't realize they'd gotten the community school designation as well.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Anyone else have anything else they want to add to priorities, topics to look into for next year, so we can start looking at speakers?
I came into contact with the incoming, I think it's program, something. I have to look at the post on Facebook, but for Annapolis High, if we want to talk to her,
Is that
but
the
go ahead.
Is that the new community schools coordinator for them, or?
Let me double check. She said program something. I took a screenshot. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested to see.
Signature program site coordinator.
Oh, because is that she's taking over for, was Laura Mish the
Yeah, she said
big,
until July 1st.
okay. So yeah, she's taking over for Laura Mish then.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we were talking about, the signature programs. The difference between the magnets and the signature programs is they're both sort of specialized programs within the high school, but the signature programs are within a specific school and it's only open to students that are in that specific school, as opposed to magnet programs where you can apply to go to a different school from your home school to attend. But each of the high schools has a signature program, and the one at Annapolis High is change engineering, I believe.
Okay.
It's like an not like an entrepreneurship program, and they get a certificate. They do a dual enrollment at the high school with the community college, and they get a certificate in entrepreneurship, I believe, from the community college, as well as a high school diploma at the completion of the program. I know I think we had Laura Mish come and talk to us 3-4 years ago about it, because we really didn't know much about the program before there, and it was really interesting. I didn't know all of the facets, and especially the dual enrollment piece before, but it would be good to have somebody come and talk to us about that again too.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss, where is she going?
I don't know, but we lost her.
I don't
she's
know.
going to Phoenix.
Oh, she's with Rami Pittman.
Now, I heard that Miss Pittman, is she starting up a school over there? Or?
She was. That was the New Village Academy, and unfortunately, because of the instabilities in federal funding. They had gotten some grants, but there was a lot of question about whether or not the grants would come through at the same time as there were a lot of fluctuations in construction material pricing due to the tariffs. And as a result, the costs became not knowable and the funding became not like both of the cost and the funding were sort of no longer easily predicted. So as a result, some of the investors pulled out and they decided that it was not financially viable.
Okay, because there's a rumor going around saying that she's going to start a school over at Mary Moss.
That's interesting. I had not heard that.
But is she working at one of those schools now? I
Phoenix.
think
She's gone to Phoenix. I thought is
she's
what I.
going to Phoenix.
Was it
Oh,
Phoenix
okay.
or was it Mary Moss? I thought it was Phoenix that I had heard she was going to.
Okay, but
which
she's
is
not
a
starting
huge.
a school.
No, not a new school, but I loved a lot of what she talked about. She had spent a lot of time setting up internship opportunities for our students, and that was one of the questions that I wanted to actually talk to Dr. Pugh about. Was with that college and career readiness, a lot of the work that Ms. Pittman was doing was about finding in the New Village Academy program, students were supposed to shadow employee, like various, like she had lined up with like people from the city and the county and other area businesses to have students shadow and sort of learn, like do internships and learn a lot of like local businesses. Like I think the maritime trades was one of the ones that she had mentioned. And all of those opportunities sounded like things that our students at A High would really benefit, especially the ones that only have a partial schedule senior year. So I was really hopeful that maybe we could figure out how to make that piece still work somehow for our students, even though New Village Academy isn't. So.
Sorry.
But
that
that's a
would be
good.
Yeah, that's another. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know the answer about any of the things, but I do think that one of the other thing we should also talk about is just all the changes, like just at the beginning of the year, maybe the changes, and see if we can get the new principals maybe to join us.
Oh, that would be
We
great.
have a new principal at Annapolis Middle, who is Miss Herrera, who was formerly an AP for a year at Annapolis High, and prior to that was at a number of different other schools. So maybe that would be something we could do.
That would be great.
About.
Do we have a new, is the new content learning management system launching in the fall? That's replacing Brightspace? I thought that was supposed to launch this fall too.
I think it is. I don't know. Did you get a text message today? Did everybody get like a message today from the school system, but it didn't say that it came from the school system about rooms?
No, I don't think so.
About what?
You wouldn't have gotten one, Odessa. I think it was just for the parents. But if you're a parent, I got a text today.
Text. No, I've got a whole bunch of weird attendance texts from or notifications from Power School that was like somebody was going through and making sure that if my daughter was marked absent, that it was for all the classes on that day, which was really quite odd.
It is odd. I got a welcome to messaging by Aptigee. 5 messages per month. Message and data rates may apply. We're excited to be using Rooms for our school communication. Download this link for iPhone. But it's from a number, like a 5-digit number that I didn't recognize, and it didn't say anything about AACPS. But if you click on it, it takes you to the AACPS app. So that was weird.
That is here. That's very odd. No, I didn't get that. I just keep getting text messages about the weather.
And I've stopped getting the text messages about the weather.
I finally gave up. They said it's too hot to be outside. Stay inside where you have air
conditioning. When I clicked on the link to the Aptigee thing, I saw there was a message about the weather, but I haven't actually gotten one recently that said like tomorrow's closed, same thing that it has been saying.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, I just got a message that Sheila Finlace is being honored tonight at the caucus of African American?
I did not get that message either.
No, I didn't either.
Oh,
Now she is stepping down from the city council this fall. She's not running
Yes.
for reelection. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have a new liaison for the council.
let
Awesome.
me see.
We'll bug Rob since he's gonna have a kid in public school now.
Okay, so I think we're good. I know it's 6:42 and I know we were trying to end this by 7. So that's a good list of agendas. I think we'll go back. India, we had postponed the elections for 2025, 2026 till we had a quorum. Now that you are here, we have a quorum. So right now the slate is Laura for chair and Corey for secretary, and the vice chair position is open. If anyone has any changes or wants to raise their hand or however, please speak now or forever hold your peace, or at least until the next meeting. Okay, in that case, I'm going to put forward that slate with Laura as as chair, and Corey as secretary. And we'll do a roll call. So Ward 1 is absent. Ward 2 is not here. Ward 3 is not here. Ward 4,
Yes.
is that an I? Like yes?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay. Ward 5, India.
Aye.
Ward 6, Corey.
Aye.
Ward 7, Laura.
Aye.
I am an I. Ward 8, Pam,
Aye.
and Odessa.
aye.
And the slate passes. Congratulations, Laura. Chair, thank you so much for stepping up. I am looking forward to a great year under your leadership. Do you want to finish out the meeting? Do you want me to finish out the meeting? How do you want to do it?
I don't know if you've got the agenda up. What else is
Okay.
on the agenda?
So the next, we had unfinished business, a budget update, and redistricting. I do not have any updates on either of those items. Does
The only
anyone?
thing on budget is that the pilot program for the weapons detection system did go through at the county level and was approved at the school system level. So we need to find out what schools have been selected for the pilot program.
Okay. Okay. Any other updates? Okay. Redistricting, we should hear something, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
I think there was something scheduled for one of the July board meetings.
Right.
They get like an update or something.
I'm just pulling up the schedule right now.
Think.
Where is the schedule? Recommendation to superintendent, according to the lollipop in the middle of June, should have already happened.
Hmm.
I think since it's the 25th, but there's not a. Sorry, the only thing I can see right now is the graphic that doesn't have actual dates on it.
I'm trying to
Yeah, it
pull up
just
the
says
redistricting.
oh, and when you click on the phase 2 southern redistricting schedule, it brings up the image of the phase 1 northern redistricting schedule. So that's confusing. Um,
Yeah, it does not.
so there should be
This
something
is
soon.
something in
Yeah, it's not,
June. Yeah.
there was supposed to be something in June, but I don't. I don't see any actual dates on here at this point in time. So, so we should all keep an eye on it. And then perhaps consider, Laura, maybe we consider, so the recommendations of superintendent was supposed to have occurred. Maybe it did. Maybe that's not a public
Yeah, that
thing.
I was just think I was actually just
Maybe
going
it
to say
occurred
that
at the
maybe
last
that's
meeting.
like they get it, and then I think 'cause the superintendent and his staff put together their own proposal based on feedback that they got from the public.
Right. And then that recommendation comes out to the board in July.
Mhm.
And then the board selects options in August. There's a public briefing in September, public hearing in October, and it's adopted by the board in November. But also in the middle of all of that, we get the results of the long range facilities plan that was taking place. And that's supposed to, formerly known as the MGT study, is now the Perkins Eastman study. And that is supposed to, why aren't there just dates available? Be presented with the final report in September of 2025. So we may also want to consider for September, October meeting, looking into that, just going back to the topics, because that study is a pretty important study.
Yeah.
So getting an update for us on that and how it affects our schools would be helpful, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, especially because it sort of seems like the supposed extra capacity at Annapolis Middle was really driving so many of the shuffling of students around.
right.
And we all sort of agreed, but there really isn't the space there. But the space that they say is there is not always. And that was one of the things that too she actually gave. She said for the pre-K in the board presentation, I should have taken a screen cap of it. I don't think I did. They talked about classroom capacity for class size of no more than 20 for the pre-K classes, which means that any place that's getting pre-K classes needs any classroom that's being allocated for that purpose would have no more than 20 students, which is still smaller, I think, than a lot of the numbers that when we were doing redistricting before, a lot smaller room usage than what that state rated. I mean, the whole goal is to show that they're hitting that state rated capacity, but that state rated capacity is kind of a made up number, especially if you're putting pre-K classes in there, which a lot of schools didn't have pre-K at all or had limited pre-K. Like I know years ago, Hillsmere had like 2 half days, but that used one classroom. So if you break that out and to serve the same number of students in 2 different classrooms, now you need 2 classrooms. And so if you're taking a classroom away from like first grade or some other grade and using it for pre-K, now you've reduced the capacity. So that was actually one of the questions that I still have is how are they calculating the state rated capacity in light of pre-K and the pre-K students, like how are we counting, and also for our Title I schools, because the state rated capacity is not the same as the class size, the targeted class size for Title I schools. So
Exactly. On all of those things. So it's a big year ahead of us. Does anyone have any new business or any community announcements? I know I have an organization that reached out to me today that is looking to try to get 6 kids to camp, to the Boys and Girls Club camp, and they're looking for funding. If anyone has any suggestions on how to best help. It's 6 kids from the Bywater community. I am a little bit in the middle of an East Puerto Rican avalanche, so I'm trying to help as much as I can. But if anybody has any thoughts about how to do that, that would be great. It's the Anne Arundel County and Boys and Girls Camp. So we have 6 kids who need $250 each to go to the camp. If anyone has any thoughts about that. And other than that,
Enid set in one community event. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Do we have, are we to community events or are we still?
yeah, no work community events.
Okay. Enid said in the Harmony and Heritage Block Party, celebrating community, culture, and Black joy at the Banneker Douglas Tubman Museum. And that is on June 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm trying to get the page to come up without success. Well, it's on the there's a graphic on it. Oh, here we go.
I got it. I can share it.
Oh, good. Thank you. You type faster than me.
There we go.
Thank you.
She also sent something. Oh, yes, sorry. So it's Saturday, June 28th from 9 to 5 p.m. Music, youth art exhibit, art conversations, vendors, and children's activity. Also on Saturday, June 9th, 28th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. is East Puerto Rican, which raises money that supports the Maritime Museum, Eastport Elementary, Annapolis Middle School, the Annapolis Musician Fund for Musicians, and other community organizations, a lot of which revolve around education. So if both of those are awesome events, it looks like. So put that out there. Anyone else have any community announcements?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the announcement, June 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Caucus of African American Leaders hosts a tribute to Sheila Finlayson, who will be retiring at the end of the year. So there is something going on tonight.
Yeah, I wish I had known about that.
Yeah, but
I don't know how to send it to y'all. Oh gosh.
If I can oh, it's not on there.
It's on a Facebook page post.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It wasn't on the website.
So will she continue to represent the city of Annapolis?
Not once she steps down.
Okay. And when is that? In September?
Yeah.
November.
Yeah, the
Okay.
election. When's the election? I thought it was September.
Why don't I see? I don't see that, Odessa. I'm trying to
June
pull it up, but the
18th.
last thing I see.
It's on June. It says call Snowden June 18th.
That's weird. Why can't I see that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe it's Carl's. Maybe Carl posted it.
Yeah,
Maybe it wasn't posted by the things. Hold on, let me go to his page.
For everyone in the city, our primary election is Tuesday, September 16th, and the general election is Tuesday, November 4th. And then they are seated, I believe, the beginning of December. So we will have new faces on the city council at that point. And a new mayor.
Indeed. Oh, yes. At 5 p.m. tonight, there was a dinner at Pitt Moyer. So, Alderwoman Finlayson is the longest serving African American woman on the Annapolis City Council. And obviously, she's done a lot of work in the education arena, both before and as Alderwoman. So, we do appreciate everything that she's done. And hopefully, in the fall, we can do something to recognize her. That would be great. Okay. Are there any other announcements? Anything else? I just wanted to say thanks again to everybody for a great year and for their patience. And I'm sorry that I wasn't as effective as chair, but I hope that we were able to get some good topics discussed and things done, and don't become chair when you're a senior in high school.
Thank you for stepping forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
yep,
you.
Yep.
Thank you, Jeff.
But, yeah, can I say something? I belong to the atonement. Okay, I forgot what it's called, but have you all heard about it? The atonement repair for the people who lived in the fourth ward and before, urban renewal. Have you heard anything about that
I have heard
organization?
about it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm a member of that because I used to live at 101 Calvert Street, right there where all those state government buildings and everything are. And so this organization called the Atonement Repair, they're kind of like trying to get recognition of all the people who were removed because of urban renewal. And I'm not sure if they're seeking reparations, but they're trying to come up with something. But do you know, I found out that I guess in the 1950s, Annapolis was 40% African American. In 40%. Do you know what it is now?
What is it now?
18%.
Wow. I mean, certainly I can see that difference even in Eastport in the, we moved here in 98 and that the population has changed dramatically. Even here in Eastport. I mean, just in Eastport, right? Like just for Coalition for Atonement and Repair. Is that what it is?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So there, I think the main goal is to try to bring recognition to the African American population of Annapolis over the years, and to try to get more programs and reparations and things for our youth.
Okay.
So
That's great.
yeah.
Well, maybe
So
maybe in the fall that can be another topic. Maybe you can bring that forward, because that is
Okay.
a really important, if you forget your history, then you lose your future.
And that shows you how old I am, because I was a little girl in 1950. And I mean, it's just amazing how time goes by, guys. So everybody, uh, take what's the saying? Kind of like count your blessings, count every day that you're alive, because time goes by really
Right.
fast. And
It
I
does
can
indeed.
remember living on Calvert Street. All those government buildings and everything, they were not there. They
That's
were not
crazy.
there. And
It is really crazy.
then,
All right.
right, and
So,
then that's good. That's all
Odessa,
right.
if
Go
you
ahead.
could talk about that in the fall, I think that would be great to hear some of what they're doing and how they're involving the schools in education. That would be really awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's fine.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work and your thoughts and your participation this year. I look forward to a great year next year under Laura as chair. Hopefully, I can help her as I didn't step up for vice chair because my husband's standing right here. And if I did that, I might not. I have to go somewhere else. But I'll consider it once I get through July.
I've got my earbuds in tonight, so my husband doesn't know what I'm up to.
Very smart. Very smart. I hope everyone has a wonderful summer. Hopefully, hope to see you at either or both of the events at the Banneker Douglas and East Porta Rockin this weekend, and other events around the city. And let's continue to keep in touch. And happy summer.
Yeah,
And
we have our normal summer recess. We don't typically meet in July, so we will
correct.
not be meeting in July. I think it ends up being people are away and it just ends up being really hard to schedule. And then our first meeting would be in the fall. Typically, we do that first week or that fourth week, but that's also, I think, the week that school starts. So I'll have to double check on the calendar. Possibly we might go a week earlier so that we can meet before the start of the school year, because once we hit the beginning of school, then we start to conflict with back to school night.
Yeah.
So we'll
Okay.
I don't know. Have we seen a back to school night schedule?
We have
Last
not.
year
And
they
we
sent it out in
probably,
like April. And this year nothing.
yeah,
So
probably we should
Okay.
also start discussing whether we want to stick with the fourth Wednesday or how we want to because
yeah,
I think there were a lot of conflicts this year and we didn't, have participation with Joanna nearly as much, I think, because of Wednesdays. So,
yeah,
maybe we want to revisit because I do think it's really important and helpful to have her
I
in the room.
agree. I'll reach out to her and see if there are days that are better for her. And then we'll have to talk to the city, because I know there are certain nights that don't work with the city. And
Also, Laura,
mhm.
there's going to be another debate between Rhonda Pendle and Rhonda Pendle Charles and Jared Littman.
Mhm.
I think that's coming up in August. It's
Mm.
going to be at Pip Moyer. But anyway, I can send you the information to you or Jess, and you all can send it out in the email.
Okay.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
If there's no other moments, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Any second? Somebody
I
second?
second. Mhm.
Okay. Anyone opposed to adjourning? Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Oh, we didn't talk about food. Shoot.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, summer food. Hold up. Was there
That always
any, we have the schedule. Did we share the schedule? I
No,
know
we
that
didn't
the
share
school
the
system
schedule.
set up. All right, hang on. You know what? We can send that out as well, because the school system sent it out to us, and we'll send it out to you to send out to your communities. I think all the meals at our the main sites are still, you have to eat the food there. I think that's at the kids. But the drop-offs, the neighborhood drop-off sites, I think those are just bag lunches that you take, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll
All
send that out as well, and I'll send that out, and I'll send that out with the school board meeting that link for the blueprint and community schools.
Perfect. All right. Thank